Akash, please unmute yourself.
Hey guys, welcome to the day 8 of the Faculty Development Program in Cybersecurity. I'm your trainer Akash, and we'll be starting up today's session with a new topic of SSH and see how we can actually exploit a variety of services. Yesterday we had a good example of FTP. Today we'll continue with SSH. When you talk about SSH, the full form is actually Secure Shell. SSH. That's what it is. I told you shell is nothing but just an interface where you execute commands. Now, there are two services that are having similar functionalities, but they are very different. One of them is called the telnet, and the other is the SSH. Telnet and SSH have similar functionality, that is to provide you a remote shell service. Now, if you may ask, what does it mean? Through these two services, you can let anybody have a remote access on your terminal, on your shell, basically. So they can execute commands and they can see what stuff is going on there. So this is really helpful when you want to work with different systems which are remotely in different locations. And especially when you do not have a graphical user interface access. When it's not there, when you only have a CLI, that is when you require a remote shell service. If the system that you're working with do not have a graphical user interface, then we have to deal with the command line interface only, and for which we majorly depend on SSH. You guys might say there are softwares like AnyDesk. There is also something called a team viewer, right? These softwares help you share the screen and control the other computer, but both of them are majorly based on GUI. What if there is no GUI on your target? Then what? Then we basically depend on the command line interface, which is the base, the origin of everything, right? The GUI is also based on command line interface. It's just that it is made easier for access for you guys. But CLI is the reality. It's the truth that we have to accept and work with. So it's better we start working with that. Give me a second. So this will be a video. This session will be an introduction for you to to SSH. Now the difference between Telnet and SSH is Telnet majorly works on plain text. Telnet is plain text, whereas SSH is encrypted. And that's a difference. This is why we do not use Telnet. We prefer SSH because this whole channel is encrypted. That is why the definition, the full form for SSH is secure shell. It is secure because it is encrypted, right? Now it makes sense. Telnet, on the other hand, transfers your data and conducts the whole session in plain text communication, which makes it vulnerable. That means anybody can see what you're doing. Anybody can just look into whatever you're working with. So that makes it vulnerable, and hence it is not preferred. So let's see how SSH actually works, right? So it's the same model. Basically, when you talk about SSH, there are two variants to it. One of them is a client, and the other one is the server that connects, what we connect with, right? So the client server model, you install a server on the, of course, the server side. The client should be on the user end, where the user is going to access the SSH. and that's how we are going to configure SSH. The client obviously is going to be our Kali Linux right here, and the server will be definitely our Parrot OS, right? So the same model as yesterday, we are going to install first the server in our in our Parrot, and then we install the client on Kali Linux. I'll also be adding these notes. I will be sharing a link for code share, just like I did yesterday. Give me a second. For those who have yesterday's link, good job. You already have the code, the stepwise guide for everything that we have discussed yesterday. But today I'll be sharing a new link altogether. There you go. Oops. Okay. There you go. So here is where I'll upload my notes, if you will see. Now talking about the client and the server, what's the difference? On the client side SSH, we have to install the simple utility, just like FTP, it's going to be SSH. For server side, there's a different software. Yesterday, we worked with something called a VSFTPD, right? Today, instead of this, of course, we are working with SSH. So the tool that we install on the server side is Open SSH. That's the one that we use for SSH. Sudo apt get install open SSH hyphen server. So these will be the installations be made on the client and the server side. So I will be installing this first on my Parrot. Sudo apt get install, oops, open SSH server. There you go. It's already installed for me, but for you guys, it will take time. Additionally, just like yesterday, we worked with a client for Linux, right? Client Linux. But there's also a client for Windows that I'll help you install and configure as well. Because just like FTP, we had FileZilla that was for Windows for GUI interface. We have a solution for SSH as well. We'll discuss it once we are done with the Linux part. So OpenSSH is here with us. Let's just get the client SSH as well on the Kali Linux. For those who are interested, I am updating all the notes in the link I provided in the chat box, so you can visit and follow up. For those who have not done this before, I'm updating the commands in there. Okay, we have our Kali. Let's install it. There was some disturbance, I guess, in between. Apologize for that. I think it is fixed now. Okay, moving on. Kali Linux. It's booting up. Okay. So we'll start with the basic. Just update your system properly first. It won't take time today, of course. We did it just yesterday, but I'm doing it for those who haven't seen it yesterday. So they should also be witness to the same things we did. And for those who already have a good job, I hope you guys are practicing whatever I am teaching. It's just 82 MB, not more. Well, on the contrary to Parrot OS, Kali Linux gets more updates as compared to Parrot OS because both of them are like different entities, different companies altogether who have made this distribution. So they have, of course, different libraries and different kind of stuff to be installed and different maintenance. So that's what you have to look into. In the meanwhile, if anybody have any queries regarding what we had yesterday or whatever we are having even today, or in the any of the previous classes, feel free to ask. Mr. Khanna, I think, have something to say. Please speak up. Your voice seems to be breaking down. Can you please put that in the chat box? It will be really better. Thank you. In the very beginning of the session, I just explained SSH is secure shell. That's what SSH is. The full form, if you're looking for, SSH. So it's 50% done, so let's wait for it. In the meanwhile, I'm also answering questions in here. Okay, it's done. So let's start with the installation for the SSH client. Sudo apt install SSH. Okay, so it's getting it now. All right, it's done. SSH is installed, so that's good. So that means my client is ready and my server is ready. So let's stick to the server configuration first, right? Okay. So the file that you need to configure, command for that is sudo nano /etc /ssh/sshd underscore config. That is the command. So I will be editing the SSH configuration file, which is located on this particular location. Sudo /ssh whoops. Okay. So this is the configuration file. So let's understand first what kind of changes we will be making in the configurations. We can change the SSH default port. It is totally optional, by the way. See, the default port for SSH is, of course, 22, but we can change it to anything we want. I'll show you how we can do that, by the way, right? Next, what we can do is we see what we are in FTP yesterday. We saw that a user was able to log in with root account when we were compromising another machine. When we exploited another machine, we saw we got the root access. So in SSH, we have a permission to disable the root access. Disable root login. We can do that. I'll show you how as well. And yeah, pretty much that's what we can do. And that's what you should be looking into as of now. We can do even more stuff, even more customizations. But for now, I think this will be good enough to work with. If I scroll down, here you can see the default port will always be 22. And for you guys, it will look like this. So when you talk about codes, when you talk about scripting and programming languages, there are comments. When you write a program, let's say there are 18 lines in that program, right? In that whole script, this could be mentioning like a lot of stuff. So all these could be lines of codes. But again, if there is one single line that starts with a hash sign, this hash sign is a comment. Basically, this comment is used in order to specify what the program is all about, what exactly you're doing with the program. So I'll show you a demonstration for this. Okay, you can see this is a Python program I was working with. This is a testing program. But you can see in the lines of code, there are certain lines that actually start with a hash symbol, right? This hash symbol is nothing. This line is now a comment. It is not a part of the code. It is not going to execute, right? What will be executed is this part, not the part with the commented hashtag. This comment is just to provide the developer or the user the information that what exactly is the script about. You know, so this script right here, this piece of script will be fetching a URL, fetching content from some URL. This part of the program will save the remaining content into another file. So this way I know that what every part of the of my code is actually going to do. This way I can specify what exactly am I doing with my code, and I would know that what part is doing what functionality and what can be modified. The main code logic starts from here, you can see. So I have like mentioned it in a comment. So this way I know this is where the main thing actually starts, and this is where I can modify. Take a random break of 1 minute while typing. This is where it happens. So now I know what every single part of my program is doing only by adding comments. This is for my reference or the people I'm working with. So this references actually helps us understand what the code is doing better. And this is like a healthy practice by the developers to add comments. Similarly, we can see the comments here as well. These comments are telling us what to do with this kind of information. It just says that OpenSSH is to specify options with the default value where possible, but leave the commented. Uncommented option override, whatever. Basically, it's just like giving you hint or some information about what you can do with this file. If you will see here, we have this port 22 written. Now, we know the default port SSH uses is 22, right? That's a default port. And guess what? This information is also with the bad guys. They also know the same, right? They know what kind of stuff you have and what kind of stuff you're running. And but if you're running a default SSH on 22, they also know the same. So they can run any kind of attack if they know what is the default port. So to prevent that kind of stuff, we can change this port number to any number that we want. I told you yesterday, we have 65,000 plus ports. 65,535 ports we have. Out of these ports, we can assign any port that is vacant, that is not in use. We can assign it to SSH instead of 22. I can make it this way. Let's say it's going by default port 22, but I can change. As of now, I'm not changing it. I'll show it later. All right. I'm going to scroll down and I'll show you how to disable the root login. There you see. For you guys, this also would be commented. But guess what? You guys can uncomment by removing the hashtag, making it a relevant piece of code, and permit the root login as no. If you add no, that means the root login is not permitted. If you make it yes, then it is permitted. Simple, right? So I'm going to keep it as no because I don't want anyone to log in as root. They should only be getting a user access, not a root access on my system. So I'll save it. Done. Okay. Now the question is, how do we really start the SSH? Starting the server. So the commands goes as follow: sudo systemctl start SSH. You also can do the same. You also should do the enable. So when you start it, it just begins whenever you do it. But when you do enable SSH, SSH will be enabled every time your computer boots up. So it's like that. Otherwise, if you do not enable it, if you disable this thing, then you have to start it manually every time your computer boots up. So it's like that. So if you enable it, it will be turned on every time the computer boots up. If it shuts down, it goes down. When it comes up, SSH is on. But if you disable it, then you would have to start it by yourself all the time. So let's enable it so that it is turned on all the time. I don't have to go through this again and again. You can also do the same thing for status. I already told you this yesterday. You can also check the status here. You can also check, you can also stop it, by the way. You can also restart it if you want, right? You can do all that kind of stuff. So let's begin with starting the SSH. Sudo SSH, system CTL start SSH. Okay. We are also going to enable it. Okay, it's done, I think. Almost. Okay, done. It's enabled, it's started, so we can proceed further. So in order to confirm if the SSH is actually working, the IP address for my parrot is 1.17, same as yesterday. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to check with nmap my own IP address and see what do we get. Says all of them are closed. Okay. Okay, why does it say so? Okay, let me just remove and reinstall it. There seems something wrong with the SSH, I guess. Maybe purge SSH. I'll be reinstalling this thing. Yes, Kiran, Gopi Kiran, you seem to have a question. Go ahead. You can unmute yourself and speak up, or you can put that in the chat box. Okay, it's removed. Let's install it again. Okay, let's wait for it. Okay, we have it here. Let's give it a try again. Okay, there was some misconfiguration, guys, which I think we fixed by reinstalling it. It's okay, it happens all the time. We can see the 22 is open now because I just enabled SSH. Now, if I go back and edit and change port number 22, before that, let's confirm if the client is able to scan or not. I'm going to scan the same thing from my Kali Linux. Okay, sudo nmap. Okay, it says 22 is open. All right, good job. Mr. Kumar seemed to have a questions. Unmute yourself and speak up if there is anything. I can't hear you, Mr. Kumar. If there's something, please speak up. Okay, there's nothing. All right, let's edit the configuration file again. Sudo nano slash edc slash ssh sshd underscore config. The port number by default is 22. We know that. Let's change it to, I don't know, 7368. Random port, right? So let's save it. I'm gonna do Control X, save. Yes, done. But not actually. Every time you make a change in SSH configuration, you have to reload the SSH service. So I will be restarting SSH once. Restart. And let's check now the nmap. Top 1000 ports says it is closed. Let's see if I scan all of them, what do I get? Mr. Rai, you do seem to have a question. If you want, you can unmute yourself or you can add a text in the chat box. See, when I scanned top 1000 ports, like a default scan, it said that there's nothing open, everything is closed. But when I went beyond the top 1000, because the port number is not a common port number, it says that this is open and the service is unknown. Interesting, right? And interestingly, it is actually SSH, but Nmap is not able to figure it out. Yeah. So let's also take a look in the Kali. How does it look like? Okay. Here I'm going to type the same thing, Nmap 1.17. 1000 ports are closed. If I look specifically for port number 22, it says it is closed. But when I go for all the ports, let's see what do we get. 7368. That is the port that we configured in SSH. Interestingly, we can actually still figure out what port about. Mr. Khanna seemed to have a question. You can unmute yourself if you want. Or if your signal is weak, please add that in the chat box. It will be really helpful. Your voice is breaking up, Mr. Khanna. Please add that in the chat box. I'll help you with that. Your voice is breaking up. I really can't make sense of what you're saying there. So chat box will be a better way to communicate, I guess. Now, 7368 does not still if it is SSH. How can I configure it? By adding -sv. This will give me more details about the version number, right? So when I do this, see what does it say? Now it tells me that it is SSH because now it have figured it out. There is a software running called the OpenSSH. Only with -sv we can figure it out. Otherwise, if you make a normal scan, you cannot see it. We have already seen that, right? So that is the point of changing the port number in SSH. You can see normal scan does not show you that. When you do it with the -sv, it shows you the proper version of the software that is running, and it confirms it's SSH. Otherwise, it will say it's unknown. We don't know what's there, right? So this way, we can change the port number of SSH to whatever port we desire. This practice is really helpful when it comes to securing your services from any intruder-based attacks. And we can ensure that nobody can even find out in the first place easily. Of course, they can figure it out, but it takes a step ahead, right? So that's better. Okay, moving on. We saw that SSH is active. Let's now take a look how I can really connect with the SSH server, right? In the previous step so far, we figured out how to configure the server, how to make changes, how to add different, modifications to the configuration file. Everything is done so far. Let's also look into how to connect with the client. I'm sorry, how to connect with the server from the client. How to connect with the server. Okay. So the command for this is pretty simple. It's sudo SSH. You're just defining what you're working with. And then you give the IP, you give the username @ the IP address. Notice what's happening here. I am telling SSH to connect with a target whose IP address is given, and this is the username that I want to log in with. When you execute this, in the next step, it will ask you for a password. When you provide the password, it will take you to the SSH console, where you can, put your commands and work with the system. So that's what's going to happen. In my case, the IP address we already know is 1.17, and the username is parrot. So that's what I'm going to log in with. Okay, so I'm gonna client side my Kali Linux, and I'm gonna log in sudo ssh parrot1.c. When I press enter, by default, it will either connect with port number 22 or for a backup port 2222. Okay. It will only look for these ports by default because we are using SSH, right? So this is the main port, this is the backup port. But as of now, both of them are not the right one. We have assigned a whole new another port. So we have to define the port as well so that SSH would know that what exactly we are doing here. So I have to define it explicitly 7368 like this. So when I do this, now SSH knows that what is the port number that I'm connecting with. And instead of going on the default ports, it will go on this port number that I specified right here. When I press enter, it asks me certain configurations that do you really want to connect with this person or is it a yes or no? So I just type yes and I press enter, done. Okay. It says it permanently added this server to the list of known host. So this will be known to me. It basically confirms so that you know that who you're connecting with, you don't just connecting with somebody randomly. Now it's asking me the password. I'm going to put the password. And when I do that, bingo, we got the access. What does it say? It says Parrot Sec. It shows me the banner for Parrot. And now you can see I am logged into Parrot. Whatever I want, I can do it. I have full freedom now, right? I am connected to Parrot Shell. And this is secure communication. So I can execute any command on Parrot without even using it. Isn't that great, right? So we can do this for any Linux machine, basically. We can create an SSH server, upload it somewhere else, and we can start using it from my Kali itself directly. So that sounds good, right? Okay. So far, so good. So if I do who am I, it says I'm Parrot. If I do ifconfig, it shows me the IP address of Parrot. That means confirmed that we are logged into Parrot. If you want to exit, I just type exit and I press enter and I'm back to Kali. You see? Back to the fundamental, back to my machine. So that's how we work with SSH. These are the steps. I'm going to put the steps in the code share link with you guys. You can access it. The notes for yesterday is in the link that I shared yesterday, so you must be having it. And for today, I've created a new code share that I've already shared the link with. If you don't have it, I'm going to share it one more time with you. There you go. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Or so far, anybody have any question regarding what we have seen here so far? Wow. Okay. There you go. You must be having the code now. So, all right. Good luck. If there are any questions, any queries, put them up in the chat box. I'm available to answer them. Next, we are going to look into how to exploit SSH with different stuff, with different exploits. So I'm going to show you that as well. I don't see any questions coming up. So before I tell you about the exploitation part, there are certain topics that need to be covered up, like brute force and SSH enumeration and stuff, which I have not covered up yet. So here's what we will do. I will be sharing you a link. We'll have another questionnaire. If you remember, we had it a few days ago in the very preliminary sessions. Today we have another questionnaire, guys, so we can discuss it. So we can confirm what exactly you guys are learning, and we can also be on the same page, right? So you guys will be going on the same link that I have shared previously. I'll upload the link on your chat box if you don't have it. Just a second. Okay, I've given you the link in the chat box, everyone. Please join in the link and put the code in there, 11592760. Once you guys join in, you guys can put a thumbs up so I can confirm you guys are here and I can continue. All right. Put a thumbs up in there so I can confirm you guys are here with me. All right. Come on, everyone. I want everyone to join in. This is going to be interesting. I added some new questions. So this is good. This will be new for you guys. Your training is awesome on 11 habits. Okay, thank you so much, by the way, whoever said that. Really appreciate it. Thank you. I can see a lot of good comments coming in. Thank you so much. Let's just give it a couple of more minutes for everyone to join in because we're going to have a questionnaire round. So I would like everyone to get in and participate in this. It's free, of course. So why not? Right? Thank you guys for these amazing comments in there. Oh, I can see a lot of good comments. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ashwini. Really appreciate for your kind words in the chat box. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, I can see a lot of people here. So let us begin the quiz, right? Okay, here comes the first question for you guys, which is what is the primary objective of cybersecurity? See, these questions are prepared in such a way that they will help you in the interviews. So good luck with your answers, okay? Do not follow the herd. See whatever fits best according to your logics and then go for the answer, okay? Do not just blindly follow what other people are doing. Okay, I can see most of the answers are coming in for option C, protecting data and systems. Actually, that is the correct answer. Reason because when we talk about cybersecurity, we are not just talking about a specific software or a specific entity. We're talking about overall protection of all the digital assets like data, could be communication, could be the storage, could be whatever. And systems include everything, all everything which is a part of technology. So that is the most optimum answers. Next question, guys, is which of the following is an example of a social engineering attack? I've explained this topic a little bit, and I've shown you some videos as well, by the way. I've shared some video earlier. So what is this about? What do we do here? Mhm. Phishing, that is correct. That's what we do, right? That's the right answer. Phishing email is the correct answer. When we actually deal with certain fraudulent emails or messages or phone calls, they are trying to, socially influence us by communicating with us. They are engineering our mindset. They're trying to manipulate us, and hence it is the right answer. So good job, guys. Okay, I can see a lot of hearts coming in. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Okay, this is a tricky question, okay? So take your time, think a little bit, and then answer, okay? I've already said this thing in the sessions. What is the protocol used to protect your web applications? Again, there is no hurry. Focus, think on what I've taught, and then answer it appropriately. Is it SSL, TLS, SSH, or FTP? And guess what? We just did these things, right? SSH and FTP. So you know it. Oops, my bad. All right, there it is. Most of you are answering 21 on SSL. Well, actually, that is incorrect. The right answer is TLS. Now, you guys might be asking why. Oh, I'm sorry. SSH full form is wrong here. I am so sorry about that. I just realized I need to speak with my interns. Yeah, they make the questions, I know. Yeah. So TLS is an advanced form of SSL. They used to have SSL as a security, but now they have added TLS as a good parameter to replace SSL altogether. So the right answer is TLS. Okay, that's the correct answer for you. All right. Coming up, the next question for you would be, what does the I in CIA triad stands for? The CIA triad is the baseline of every security operation, right? Confidentiality dash availability. I answered my own question. The right answer is integrity. It was an easy question. I know. It's all right. You guys did a good job. That's the right answer. I kind of did answer my own question, so it's okay. Now, this is an important question, so please understand it very carefully. We have done this tool. Which of the following is an example of a penetration testing tool? When we test out vulnerabilities, what kind of tool do we use? Do we use firewall? Do we use IDS, Nmap, or antivirus? What exactly we use? I can see a lot of answers coming up for various questions. Some people are also saying antivirus. Okay, that's unique. Okay. Well, the right answer is actually Nmap. So most of you guys are correct. Good job so far. But those who want to join into this meeting, they can definitely log in with this link in the chat box. And the code that you want to type in is 15115927760. The next question in front of you is, what is the primary goal of a DDoS attack? This should be very simple to answer, right? It's not that difficult. Okay, DDoS attack, for those who don't know, is actually short for distributed denial of service. I explained this attack very briefly when I was teaching you the CIA triad. Remember the very preliminary classes, I've explained a couple of examples here. So most of you guys are actually correct, but for those who do not know, the right answer is service disruption. DDoS attack is not made to create unauthorized access. It is made to disrupt the service, to stop, to crash down servers, to make them stop responding to their clients. So that's what DDoS attack is all about. All right. Good job so far. Most of you got it right. For those who do not, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, right? You still have another day. All right, moving on. We have the question, what does security incident response plan help with an organization? See, understand the words security incident response plan. That means the incident, which is an attack, it already took place, right? That is when we are responding to it, right? Because it already took place. And this is with respect to cybersecurity. So, what exactly are we proposing to an organization when we give them this kind of a plan? Are we planning to, creating more vulnerabilities? Are we identifying the potential attackers? Most of you are going with minimizing damage and recovering quickly. And that, guys, is the correct answer. We are minimizing the damage. See, preventing all security incident will happen before the attack takes place, right? We'll be doing the prevention part, right? Identifying is also done before the attack is made. But after the attack is made, in the post-attack scenario, pre-attack is when we can identify. In post-attack, our job is to save, right? Is to recover everything, minimizing the damage control, basically, right? So that is the correct answer. Good job, everyone. What is the process of converting data into code? For example, guys, let's look into my name. It's a good name. It's Akash. You guys know me so far. And if this data is converted into something like BKX hashtag underscore C asterisk, something like this. What do you call this? I want to see the right answers from you guys. Give it a try, right? You don't have to be correct. It's okay. Wrong answers are also accepted. Nobody's here to judge you, by the way. I don't even know who's typing what. So you guys can give it a try, right? Somebody says morning. Okay. That's funny. Okay. A lot of you guys are choosing encryption, which is the correct answer. The process of converting data into code is encryption, where we can convert and get it back in the original format, encrypt and decrypt. So that's correct. You got the idea. Awesome job, everyone. The next question is, what is a program that runs on a user's device without their knowledge? If I run something on your computers, what would you call that? Could be anything, right? Some of you said malware. Some of you said encryption, spyware, virus, script. Okay, okay. Trojan horse, nice name. Frankly, there is no one correct answer. All of these are actually correct, frankly. These all are, a variety of a malware, like different types of malware. We talk about viruses, worms, Trojans, ransomware, spywares. They're all different types of malwares. They are malicious software. So that's what it is. And good job, everyone. So far, so good. You guys are doing great. Okay. Next question. What is the technique of masking one's true IP address? Okay, I'm making it easier for you. Hiding the IP address. What do you call that? Okay. Thank you for the disrespectful words. No problem. We have some great answers. IP spoofing, VPN, subnet mask, proxy, hashing. Actually, the only two correct answers would be here, VPN and proxy. You got it right. See, here, I'm not just for the right answers. I just want to know how much concept you really understand. And based on your answers, I can see you really got the idea of it. The actual answer is VPN and proxy. These are the only two ways you can mask somebody's IP address. So that's what it is all about. And you guys got it correctly. For those who not, it's okay. You guys are giving it a try, which I really appreciate. And yeah, the correct answer is VPN and proxy. So good job, everyone. On the next question, we have, okay, it's important you understand it correctly. The principle of least privilege. Imagine you are a security manager and you are assigning, you have 10 people in your team. And out of those 10 to 4 people, you are assigning the least privilege. What could be the reason for that? Why are you giving them the least privilege? Okay, this is a great answer, by the way. I don't know who made it, but good job. User or entity should only have access to specific data, resources, and applications need to complete a required task. So good job. If you guys are copying and pasting it, I really don't appreciate that, but it's okay. I'm not here to judge you, as I said. Authentication and authorization. Okay. People should only get minimum permission required to make sure that they don't have access to. That's right. A significant number. Okay, I can see some really, really great answers. This is a complete copy pasted answer from Google. So come on, guys. Right. I can understand that. Right. Do not disrespect me that way. Prioritization. That is a great answer, guys. Awesome job. You are giving a priority based on who should have the access and who should not. So great. Yeah, that was a good answer. Next question. You got the idea of it. The principle of least privilege is just to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Everyone is provided the appropriate amount of access that they require to do the job. It not hinders or disrupts their operation. But again, it just gives them limited accessibility. So that is where your job is done. And that is the principle of least privilege, POLP, right? Moving on. What is two-factor authentication and why it is important? Just explain it in a single line, okay? Make it simple. I just want to know if you get the concept. What is 2FA? More security. Okay. Username and password is actually not the correct answer. Okay. That's a good answer. 2FA is a security process that increases the likelihood that a person is who they say they are. All right. I know it's copy and pasted, but it's okay. Good job for the effort. I know when you guys are copying and pasting. Come on. It's been 4+ years. I have trained more than 1,800 students. Okay. So I know what you're doing. Okay. But again, I really appreciate the efforts you guys are putting in. It shows that at least you're up for learning part. This is a good answer. It basically makes it harder for unauthorized people to access your account. So a 2FA is nothing but an additional layer of security. It's like when you log in with a username and password, an additional security parameter is there, which actually confirms if this is who you really are or you're just pretending to be somebody else. So that's what 2FA is all about. And that's why it is really important. It just confirms that not anyone is accessing without the appropriate confirmation. Username and password could be with somebody else as well. It can be leaked in a data breach. It could have been given by some of your friends. Could be anything, right? But an OTP, one-time password, or maybe a biometric finger sprint, it cannot be replicated, cannot be stolen. It will only be given to you, and you can put it as a user. So that's the correct answer. Talking about malware, what is a malware? And name the 3 common types of malware. Okay, 3 common types. We have gone through this similar concept in one of our previous questions, so I don't think it will be tough. Okay, no responses. Okay, one of them is here. Okay. Trojans and remote access, worms and spywares. Okay, good job, good job. All right, somebody really bothered to write a definition, so that's good. It's a malicious code that duplicates itself in one system. Yes, it's the type that does this kind of thing is called a worm. Worm keep on virus. It keep on duplicating. Malware is short for malicious software, refers to an intrusive software developed by cyber criminals. Okay, I'm pretty sure you copied this from somewhere, but it's okay. Good job. I know what you guys are doing, but okay. Okay. So far, so good. Good job. Good job. Next question, what do we have? Okay, this is tricky. What is the acronym for VPN? It shouldn't be hard, right? It's really easy. Mr. Tabray says that people are copying from ChatGPT, and I really don't mind that, frankly, because this way, at least, it is sticking to the head, right? So my job is done here. If you were able to remember this in the time when it's required, I think I achieved what I came here for. Okay, we all know the correct answer is virtual private network, so no question in that, right? Moving on. This is important to understand. When a network scanning technique that involves ICMP request to change of IP address to see like if they are really active or not. I have taught this in the very, very, very basic session, in the very preliminary session where I taught you the basics of networking. Remember that? ICMP request is Internet Control Message Protocol. It confirms the machine's activity, if it is available or responding, or is it denying the responses. So based on that, what should be the right answer? Hmm. There's a close competition on ping scanning and ARP scanning. Okay. Let's see who wins. Come on. You guys can do it, I know. A very close competition, by the way. Head neck to neck, you know? Okay. Revealing the right answer, guys, it is ping scanning. Ping actually involves ICMP packets. ARP is a protocol in itself. It does not do the same thing as ICMP. It is used for a different process, which we'll explain later, because there's a question based on the same concept. First, answer the question, what is the role of VPN tunneling protocol? What does a VPN do? Read the answers carefully and answer it, okay? You cannot do it on ChatGPT now, can you? I know. See, those guys are not even answering now for those who are working on ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure. All right, you got it right. The correct answer is B, establishing a secure communication channel. So good job so far. All right. What do we have next? Okay, this is interesting and simple question. Which OSI layer is responsible for the session management, establishing connection, maintaining it, terminating it? Which session layer should be responsible? One of you said presentation transport layer. Okay. Wrong answers are also coming in. But we all know the correct answer is session layer, right? Okay, good job. Moving on. What is the process of converting a human readable domain into an IP address? We know that our domains are words, alphabets, and IP addresses are in numerical formats. So I am not asking the protocol, okay? I'm asking the process. DNS is the protocol, but what is the process? Right? What's the process? Okay, this one is the right answer, by the way. Domain name resolution. That is the correct answer. DNS resolution, domain name resolution, whatever you call it. That is the exact answer. Yes, you can also call it domain name mapping, DNS mapping. It's the same thing. So you got it right. The right answer is domain name resolution. Good job, guys. I see more answers are coming in, by the way, which is good. Or somebody said hacking. Right. Okay, let's continue. Next question. Okay, this is interesting, so answer carefully. What is the process of converting an IP address into a corresponding MAC address? This one is tough, isn't it? Converting an IP address into a corresponding MAC address. What is the right answer? Okay. Good job. So the right answer is actually address resolution protocol. And the right answer is ARP resolution. So that is correct. Good job, everyone, so far. ARP is actually responsible for converting and translating an IP address into a MAC address. ARP, the address resolution protocol, have a table which have both of them. So whenever you call one of the entities, the other one comes along with it. So we also have a tool. If you remember, we have discussed this tool before. It's called ARP scan. Remember? If you remember the usage of the tool as well, we use it to find the IP addresses in our network, right? That's what ARP scan will do. And how does it show us? It shows the IP address and its corresponding MAC address along with it, right? Because ARP have both of them and it keep on translating between them, and that's why we get it. So if this is the kind of question that is asked you in the interview, that's how you answer with a with a good example, so that it gives you an extra point. So yeah, that will be something you take away with this. What do we have next? Okay, we came to the end of this Q&A, guys. I know even I'm sad that this ended. But if you have any question related to this Q&A, related to what I have taught so far, if there is any topic you want me to elaborate right now, put them up in the comments, ask right now, put in the chat box, say whatever you have to say. If you want to open a Q&A channel, you can ask me right now. So I'm here for helping you out. So if there is any question, you can ask me right now. I'm waiting for it. Teach any SEAM tool used in the companies. Okay. Well, this is a good question. Seam tools, I think I will take it in the very end of the session. I'll see if I can teach you one of them. All right. I'll give you a basic overview so that you guys can get an idea. But of course, I cannot go into the depths because of the limited time I am allotted. But yeah, I'll see if I can allow you, help you with that. Thank you. There's another question I can see. How attacks on website databases takes place? DDoS. Okay, not really. See, DDoS is just to take down the website. It's just to attack the the communication with the client and the server. See, if this is a database over here, and there are so many people who are connecting with it, this database is associated with the website. Now, a lot of people must be connecting with this website. There could be hundreds of different connection, right? But there's one problem. The website only have the capacity to handle, let's say, 500 packets at a time. If in case somebody is able to send, let's say, 5,000 packets, now this is beyond the capacity, due to which the website will stop responding to anyone else because it have overloaded. What happens to you when you get overloaded, right? You stop taking phone calls, you stop messaging your friends, right? You just deny any other communication. So that's DDoS. It's a different thing. But when we talk about database attacks, see, ultimately, when you talk with the website, you are transacting certain kind of packets, right? You are giving certain commands, you're getting a response, and based on that, you are operating a website. Similarly, let's say you put in a username and password, right? On this website, you added a username and a password. Where is this username and password stored? Obviously, it is stored in your database, right? Now, if I am a great hacker and I know how things work, I will know how I can manipulate the database in giving out not just my username and password, but for all the other users. We can do that, all that stuff. And I'll show you demonstrations for these also. When I'll teach you the web application hacking module, I'll show you a couple of attacks, how they work, how to perform them, and how to protect them. So I'll show you that. Just wait for that session, okay? Maybe in next to next I'm sorry, in next to next session, I'll get on the web application module. So that's when you will learn it. We have another question here. Says, any three type of virus? If you're talking about creating a virus, it's a very big process because then you have to learn programming. But I will definitely introduce you with a couple of malwares in the malware analysis session. I'll show you how to analyze a malware, how to protect yourself against it. What are the basic types? What are they? What they do? How to prevent them? The complete malware life cycle. I'll introduce everything to you. So wait for it. Can you please explain security in domain? Security in domain, what do you mean by that? I'm sorry. Please elaborate this question. Explain me malware website. I mean, it does have to make sense, right? I mean, what exactly you're trying to ask? Do you want to add a malware to a website? Or you're talking about a website where you can download the malwares? Because I'm not here to teach you the illegal stuff, right? So yeah, my hands are tied. How to use Hydra tool? Awesome question. Hi, okay, somebody put it up. I'm glad. In the next session, I'm going to teach you this. Actually, this is what we're going to work with. Hydra is amazing tool for brute forcing and for cracking passwords and stuff. So I'm going to teach you this in the next very session only. So just wait for it. When we are working with SSH, I'm going to give you a demonstration for Hydra. So wait for that. How to create a bot? It's simple. It's pretty simple. I'm going to show you a bot that I created in Python, which actually does a job for me. I'm not going to explain you what, but you will see here. I just created a bot in 33 lines of code. This bot is simple. It just interacts with my display and does the work for me. I don't even need to touch it. I just run the script and I go to sleep and it does the work for me. So yeah, it's simple to create a bot with Python. I love Python. That is the reason because it's simple. It's really expandable. You can do wonders with it. So if you know Python, keep learning it a little bit more. Get introduced to concepts like PyAuto GUI or maybe OpenAI. These are some libraries that can help you a lot with automation and scripting. So go for it. If you do not know Python, start learning it right now. After the session, go and learn Python. Open YouTube videos. There are thousands of videos. There are 4 5 hour long videos which are teaching you Python from the very scratch. So you cannot complain that you do not have study material. There are a ton of videos on YouTube which teach you the same thing. So there's no excuse, right? Okay. Next question. Can you teach us subnetting where we can learn more about networking? Okay. Okay, subnetting. You know what? I actually went through this very fundamentally because if I have to go in depth, then there's a whole lot context of networking basics I have to explain. But I'll see if I can, revisit this topic. When you talk about networking, in the drive link, I'll add some ebooks and some link for the videos that you can refer if you want to really learn networking from the basics. So that will be a good thing, I think. Recent research security. What do you mean? My research or research by somebody else? What exactly do you mean? Malware website to download. I'm sorry. As I said, my hands are clean. I do not entertain such kind of things, and I really do not recommend you as well until unless you are really aware of what you are doing. Do not go through these things. Trust me, you will end up losing stuff. It will spread. It will cause havoc, and I really don't want you to face that kind of issues. So, good luck. Stay safe. I want to know what is security in AD, Active Directory. Okay, good job. Good question, by the way. Active Directory is an architecture in technology in Windows, basically, which helps us create an organization that can be monitored and managed. This is something that we use in professional domain. It's a high level concept for which you really need to know how Windows Server actually works. So you need to know the fundamentals of Windows Server. I mean, you guys are still starting up, and I can assure 80% of you not even know what is Windows. I mean, you use it on a daily basis, but again, Windows is a lot more than what you had just know. You just know the baseline of Windows. So start learning Windows Server a little bit more. In the drive, I might share you some links to learn more about AD. It is beyond Actually, it is way beyond than the scope of this training module that I'm teaching here. So I'm sorry, I will not be, put some light on AD as of now, but I wish you good luck. Can you hack Discord bots? I'm sorry, I'm going to skip this question. I really am not interested to answer these kind of things. Get to the good stuff like an OSCP lab machine. Okay, I see that you're a pro. Good job, first of all. Appreciate it. I'm here to get to the fundamentals for everyone. That's the job I signed up for, and I want to keep it uniform for everyone. I'm sure not everybody's as talented and skilled and intelligent as you are. So great that you know about this. Kindly give me a DM here in the chat box. I'll share you some study material if you want. I'll share you my notes from my OSCP time. I have done OSCP, OSCE, OS triple E, and everything. OS IE. Right. So if you want some notes, some study material, you can put them in the chat box. I'll share the link. You can give it a try. Of course, I cannot go for the OCB lab machine. It's way beyond the scope of what I'm teaching here. So yeah, let's just keep it basic and let's stick to what everyone is here for. Can you teach us web hacking? Yeah, okay. I will try to definitely teach you the hacking. All right. Can you explain me domain name system? Okay. So DNS is a protocol in network which basically helps us to convert an IP address into domain name. See, a domain name looks like this, like akash.com. This is something readable by the humans that we can understand and make sense out of it, right? Akash.com. But when you talk about the computers, they understand IP addresses. So every system that is hosting a domain name have an IP address as well. We know that every system have an IP address. A domain name is hosted on a web server. Web server is nothing but a system, right? And coming back to what I said, every system have an IP address. So the IP address allocated to the system is kind of corresponded to the domain name, and the translation between the both is done by this protocol domain name system. It handles the conversation and the communication between them. A domain name system does a lot of things. It handles your mail servers, it handles your different packets and your different information related to your domain. So there's a lot of things involved in domain name system. I'm not going in that depth, but majorly that's what it does. For the basics, I think this will be enough. Coming to the final question, I'm doing a project on web application firewall. Can you suggest any features that I can add to build a better WAF than currently existing? Awesome, by the way. You are building a great functionality. So when you're building a WAF, there is a concept I'm not sure if you know about, which is called a SAML authentication. It's called SAML. So what's wrong with my annotation here? Yeah, okay. SAML, oh, God damn it. SAML authentication. See if you can really see. As of now, a lot of web applications, WAF, have the functionality to protect the traditional security algorithms. But when it comes to SAML, there are very limited solutions. So go for it. So yeah, you can maybe look into it a little bit. Well, I'm not sure how much research you have done, so there's a lot of things I need to be confirmed about as well. But again, I wish you good luck for whatever you're doing. It's a great project you're working on. Okay. Any more questions coming up? After making a LAN network in a packet tracer, can we do it in real time if we have this project in our office with all network devices, cables, and other things fronts? Yes, we can do it, of course. It's not just a simulation, it's a hands-on practice. When you are in packet tracer, when you have created a LAN network, you can try it out in the real time. It just takes a lot of implementation part and see how much possible it is. If it really matches the the objective of what you are actually trying to build, then yes, you can do it. What is a web server? Okay, that's not a basic question. Um, See, a website is nothing but a service that is hosted on a computer which is remotely located. Okay. I can also host a website on my own computer. But I'll not do that. You know why? Because it will take all my resources. I don't want to just sacrifice my computer only to host my website. I don't want to do that, right? So I take another computer from the internet on rent. I take that space on rent and I pay them monthly or maybe yearly. And on my behalf, they are hosting my website and you are able to connect with it. So basically, they are serving you. What kind of service they are providing? A website service. Hence, web server. That's a web server. It's nothing but a machine on the internet, and it also have an IP address just like your machine. You can communicate with it, but it is impossible to remember all the IP addresses all the time. That is why we created domain names that can be remembered easily. That's why web servers can be connected with domain names as well. Instead of remembering IP address, we go to domain names, and that's what it is. I hope I answered the question. Somebody asked me, Santesh is asking me, provided through SAML is provided through ADFS. No, SAML and ADFS are two very distinct services. ADFS is based on SSO, a single sign-on, if you know about it. If not, then do a Google search, maybe you will know. Can you give us a small gist of IoT security? Okay. See, IoT is nothing. I call IoT as a headless technology. It is everything that connects with the internet, like your refrigerators, your maybe your micro ovens, your air conditioners, your vacuum bots, anything that connects with the internet is a part of IoT. Now, the problem with IoT is that it is giving an interface on the internet, and hackers are not just limiting themselves to your traditional devices like your phones and computers. I have personally worked on projects where we have seen IoT devices can be hacked as well. We have worked on fire alarm systems, which were IoT based. Of course, they were connecting with the internet. And through those fire alarm systems, we were able to hack the network of more than 250 devices in a big pharmaceutical company in India. So, yes, it is possible. IoT security is all about making sure that whatever kind of communication these devices are making, they are also monitored. They are not giving out anything unnecessarily and not accepting any further packets. We have to also be sure about the firmware they're running with, because these are third party devices. We cannot really do much. But again, we have to at least provide the baseline security that makes sure that they are not compromised or corrupted at any point. So that's all what matters. So it's important that when you're installing a device, it should be trusted brand. They should be, having certain licenses. So you should not be like getting it from anywhere else and just installing it. There's a lot of pros and cons, by the way. Okay, there is a question in the chat box I would like to take. Sir, for students with technology, we have to enhance for project development some new technology I suggest. Okay, what I suggest, I personally am going to work. I'm actually working on an antenna-based project right now in my PhD, but that's a different thing. I will not. It's based on hardware stuff, so I'm not going to recommend that. But if you are really interested, you can go for do a research on a protocol. It's called the Quick protocol. Make a project where you are demonstrating a communication between devices using QUIC, Quick protocol. It's a hybrid of TCP and UDP. So there are very few projects that I have personally seen, and I would love to see a good demonstration that you can provide a good insight on how, what is Quick, how it works, why it was introduced, and why it is not implemented. There are a lot of if and buts. Quick can easily replace TCP and UDP both, but still it is not being done. If you can create a project where you can demonstrate why, I think it will be awesome. Do your research about it. QUIC protocol, do a research about it. Is it possible to crack password now with all SSL techniques implemented? Yes, it is possible. I'm not going to show you though, frankly, it is. I'm going to show you a couple of techniques of password cracking, of course, of how it works, how wireless communication works. But if you're going to ask me to crack it for some company, I'm not going to do that. But yes, it is possible to answer your question. There is a security layer nowadays that is added called HSTS. Let me see if I can answer this. Oh, what has happened? Wow. Okay. Oh, I reached the end. What about the question answers? Oh, there it is. Okay. I thought I lost your questions. Let me just get to the end of the questions. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah. Okay. So I was telling about something called HSTS. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Yeah. So after SSL and TLS, there's another additional layer called HSTS. Now, HSTS is short for HTTP, Strict Transport Security. This is an additional layer that protects after SSL and TLS. So if a website is having HSTS, it is impossible to crack it. I mean, it's not impossible, but again, it's really difficult. It's next to impossible. Okay, it's really tough because HSTS is not easily crackable. There are a lot of if and buts and a lot of variables involved here. So I cannot say a yes or no, but yes, it is very difficult. This is one of the most appropriate level of security a website can be provided with after TLS. It's HSTS. Go and do your research on this as well. Additional topic for you guys. Brain food. Okay, what is office automation tool? Can you be specific? Like I'm not sure if I've heard of. Are you talking about like macros or something like that? Macros are nothing but scripts that can automate your task in Excel, but I'm not sure if that's what you're exactly asking for. But office automation tool, I'm not sure what this is. If you want to elaborate, please do it. Yeah. So that was all for today. We did a lot of interaction. We learned something new. We did some Q&As. I'm pretty sure this was interesting enough for you guys, right? And we have reached to the end of today's presentation as well. Thank you, Mentimeter. It's a platform I use for the presentation, by the way. All right, on that note, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you participating into this and being so proactive today. The link for today's session have been shared in the chat box. Xenia is asking me, is there a thing like AI security? Is it possible to hack AI? Yes, it is possible to hack AI. AI is nothing but a piece of code, ultimately, at the end of the day, and it is hackable. So yes, of course, the possibilities are there. How and when and where and what's the procedure? It's a whole different ball game, which is definitely tough to understand for somebody who is beginning. It's okay. I'm not demotivating you or anything, but I'm just saying like there's a lot of things in between that you need to understand before you really jump onto the AI part. You have to understand what kind of models are there, how the models work, and how you can actually manipulate or compromise them. So you need to look into that. Yeah. So I think I answered all the questions so far, and I hope you guys were satisfied with my answers. I'm sorry if there were some questions that I couldn't answer, being in my bounds and in my scope. And yeah, I appreciate your curiosities. Everyone, thank you so much for participating. That was all for today's session, guys. And there is the session link shared with you in the chat box. Please fill the feedback, put your attendance in there. And in the next session, I'll see you guys with a new topic tomorrow. And we are going to do with a tool called Hydra. So those who are interested, please be on time because I'll start with that, and that's what we are going to do tomorrow. We'll also be installing a couple of new stuff, so please do not miss it because that will be really important for our upcoming sessions. So make sure you're there. Do not miss everything else. Do not miss tomorrow's class. That's what I'll say. Day 9 is my lucky day, so let's go for it. All right, Mr. Tabarez, I think your question can be answered by the XLR team. So kindly please connect with them. Thank you so much. Previous class I had attempted on YouTube. That is great, Professor Yadav. I really appreciate your involvement here as well. Great job, and I wish you keep on spreading the awareness of the topic to your students as well. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you so much, everyone. That was me, Akash Sharma, today for day 8. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Stay safe on the internet. Take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day so far. Thank you. Back to the XLR team.
Yeah, thank you, Akash. Thank you so much for the interesting Q&A session. Yes, guys, do you have any queries for me? Let me know in the chat box, please. I'm sharing the feedback link again. Please make sure your attendance. Ahmad, ma'am, this is the complete course of cybersecurity. We are teaching 30 hours of cybersecurity. In 30 hours, we can't able to learn full cybersecurity. We are given just fundamentals of cybersecurity. Is there any queries for me? Please let me know. Hi, Chandana. I have shared mail for the documents 2 times, but still I'm not getting any feedback. Sir, what is your query? Please let me know. Vaishali, is there will be assignments at the end of a week? No, no, Vaishali. There is no any assignments at all. Can you share the drive link again as I'm still not able to access that? For us, you just drop an email to edl@excelr.com. They will give the access. I'm sharing the attendance link and as well as that mail ID to the chat box. Rakib, materials will be available in the LMS. Please check there. You will get materials and the recordings. Both you will get there. Okay, Rakib, you just do one thing. Drop an email to edl@excelr.com. My team will answer your question, clear your queries. Okay. Yeah, in LMS. Ravi, 2 days I'm unable to send feedback and attendance due to network issue. No issue. We need 60% of attendance for the certificate. Please attend all the sessions. It is okay for that. Okay. Genia, please drop an email to edl@excelr.com and please tell your query there. They will solve that. I think YouTube people don't have any queries for me. Shaikh, we can't able to check your attendance now. After finishing the program, that time only we can able to check your attendance percentage. Yeah, Rakib. We are having a courses also. For that also, please inquiry in the edl@excelr.com. I'm sharing the again feedback form. Yeah, Rakib, I'm sharing the mail ID again. Ma- Materials are posted, ma'am, because it is not showing at my end. Rohan, I'm sharing again the attendance link. Yeah, Mohammed, like for today's materials and the recordings, it will be uploaded within 24 hours. And previous recordings and materials, we are already posted in LMS. Vijayendra, please drop an email to edl@excelr.com. There you can get LMS link as well. Okay, they didn't reply anything. Try again, no? Okay, Shashi, I'm sharing the attendance link again. I hope there is no more questions for me. So for today, we will wind up the session. Tomorrow, we will meet you on the same time, on the same session. Okay, guys, take care. Up to then. Bye.